What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today, we're going to be getting into my Week 2 NFL predictions. I know it's cutting a little bit close. It's only an hour or so away from the game. So, a little bit cutting close, but let's get into these predictions. Starting out with my Week 1 format. Went 11-4 in total. Pretty darn good for the craziness that happened this Week 1, I would say. For the first matchup, I did predict the Bills to beat the Rams, so got that right. I did predict the Saints to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Dodged a scare there, though. Falcons nearly won that one. I did predict the 49ers to pull off the win over the Bears. Bears pulled off that upset surprisingly. So congratulations to Chicago in that rainy weather game. Steelers, I did pick the upset there. I thought that Joe Burrow was going to struggle as the Super Bowl hangover hits. As that being said, guess what happens? Joe Burrow struggles to start, but the Bengals nearly won that game anyway. They were just an extra point and a very easy kick away from winning that one. Just couldn't get it done there, and the Steelers walk away with a crazy victory. I did pick Philadelphia to beat the Lions. The Lions made it more of a contest than I suspected being at home. I did predict the Dolphins to beat the Patriots. Ravens I predicted to beat the Jets. The Washington Commanders I predicted to knock off the Jaguars there. Jaguars had a decent game there. My next incorrect prediction by a made field goal, the Cleveland Browns beat the Panthers. I predicted the Panthers to come out on top with Baker Mayfield. Couldn't get the job done. Here, the Texans I predicted to beat the Colts. Texans, that was the tie of the week. So Houston loses. I don't lose anything there. It's just a nothing, no points at all. Minnesota I predicted to beat the Green Bay Packers. And I got that one right. Wasn't expecting Green Bay to lose by that much, but they did. I did pick the Chiefs to beat the Cardinals. The most surprising upset for me, the Titans over the Giants. That was the game that I was most confident in this week with the Titans being at home. Giants went for 2. Congratulations to New York. That was a surprising loss for me, but Tennessee, that is not a good loss for them right there. And then we got the Chargers beating the Las Vegas Raiders, which I got right. I did pick the Dallas Cowboys to pull off an upset over the Buccaneers. Clearly was wrong about that. Dallas did not look good. They are not looking good at all right now. And then I did pick the Seattle Seahawks to pull off the upset over the Denver Broncos, which they did. I was actually at that game. It was a very fun game to go to, and the Denver Broncos fall. So let's get into these Week 2 predictions. Like I said, 11-4 was the final record. Pretty darn good for me. So starting out with the Los Angeles Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That game's coming up in less than 2 hours now. I do think that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be able to get that win over Los Angeles in that game. Patrick Mahomes, Los Angeles, this game, I can see the Chargers walking away with a win here. But Kansas City just looked too dominant in that Cardinals game for me to bet against them. So I'm going Chiefs. Browns against the Jets. I said this last week with the Titans and the Giants, but this is definitely one of my safer games. The Jets just do not look good at all with Joe Flacco under center. That offense isn't great, and that defense isn't playing very good either. So Cleveland getting a narrow win last week. Jacoby Brissett will be able to lead their team to beat the Jets, I believe there. Then we got a very split game here. Lions against Washington Commanders. Carson Wentz, Lions defense, as we saw, wasn't great against the Philadelphia Eagles. They got an easier foe here in Washington to battle it out against. Meanwhile, the Commanders' defense did fine against the Jacksonville Jaguars, but I do think the Lions are going to be able to even out those records. That offense was firing on all cylinders against the Eagles with DeAndre Swift playing the way he did. I think that this Eagles-Lions team will be able to beat the Commanders in a high-scoring affair. I think that game will be high scoring. So give me the Lions in that matchup, but that game could go either way, I believe. Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Saints. This is a very tough one for me to predict, guys, because Saints in the regular season have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers number ever since Brady's got there. It is just facts. Tampa Bay just can't find a way to beat the Saints. But obviously everything that going for the Buccaneers, I could go into the stats here. I could say, oh, the Buccaneers should win this game. But every year I pick the Bucs to win against the Saints, and it goes wrong. So I'm finally going to learn my lesson. I'm going Saints, especially at home. Jameis Winston looked pretty decent against the Falcons in that crazy comeback. So I think these Saints are going to have enough to beat the Bucs in that one. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, unfortunately, going to fall with their first loss. But yeah, another tough game to predict. There's a lot of tough games this week. Another interesting game, we got the Carolina Panthers against New York, a split decision. New York I'm going to have to see what they look like this next week, if they're going to be a little bit more legit. But I think that Baker Mayfield and this crew for Carolina, that defense, going to be able to slow down that New York offense a little bit and just get the win barely. I think it's going to be a tight affair between the Panthers and the New York Giants. So that's another game that I think can go either way. Here we go, another game that I think could go either way. Very two prime head coaches in Mike Tomlin and Bill Belichick battling it out in a what should be a good game. I think New England's offense, they're going to start to need to get going here. TJ Watt is going to be out for this game for the Steelers, so I think that might help New England. I'm not counting out Bill Belichick. I think he's going to be able to find a way to come back. I think both these teams are in very similar boats this season. That just two very scrappy teams. I think that New England and Mac Jones, New England has the better quarterback situation as well. So hopefully they're going to be able to figure out that offense. It did not look good at all in the last game. So I think that New England will be able to figure it out and get the win over Pittsburgh. And I think will be another good matchup. Colts, it's been a while since Indianapolis has won in Florida against the Jaguars. They just do not do well against the Jaguars for whatever reason on the road. We saw it last year. All they needed to do was win the game and they would be in the playoffs. Well, guess what? They lost it. So not a good look for the Colts, but I think a little bit of a revenge game. Matt Ryan, I think he's going to be able to, coming off a little bit of a shaky start against the Texans, got the hang of things as the game went on. I think that he's going to have a big game for the Colts, and the Colts will beat the Jaguars there to get their first win of the season. And then I am going to actually go with an upset here. Another good game on our hands. The Dolphins against the Ravens. A lot of people looking like they're counting out Miami. I think a lot of people, this Ravens team might be a little bit overrated. A lot of people are ranking them very high. I'm one of those people that probably a Ravens sleeper, as a lot of people would say, because I don't think that they're as good as what people are making them be. And Miami just coming off a big win against New England. That defense is looking good. I think Miami's defense is not like the Jets' defense. I think that they'll play a better game than New York. The run game didn't really go well for Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, I don't think is going to have as good of a success throwing the football. And I think on the offensive side, Miami's offense, Tua, is going to be able to do enough to get this win. Just a little bit of an upset. I think the Ravens are a little bit overrated. Might regret that one, saying that. But this is a big game for the Ravens to earn my respect. So I'm still going Miami, though, in that game. It's going to be a good one, though. And then getting into our later games here, Rams against Falcons. I do believe the Rams can win that one over Atlanta. I don't really see the Falcons pulling off that upset. Disappointing loss last game. Rams are coming off a very bad loss to the Bills, so Rams I think are going to be prepared for that one and win that one. Then we got the Seattle Seahawks going on the road to San Francisco. Very good game. upset alert, I think, for Seattle. If Trey Lance can't look good, if my stance is going to change in the Niners, if, in a at-home, good weather, if Trey Lance doesn't look good, it's going to probably be bad for them. So I still think that the Niners are going to have just enough to pull off the win over the Seahawks, although I think there's going to be a tight battle there. Give me the Niners, though, barely. Bengals, Cowboys. Cowboys not looking good at all now that Prescott's out. If Prescott was in, I would probably – I don't know about that. Well, Prescott – I don't think this team's going to go very far with Cooper Rush unless they sign a quarterback. Cincinnati, I do think, is going to have enough to win this game on the road. Just Dallas is not looking too hot right now, so I'm going to go Cincinnati in that one. Moving on over here, we got the Denver Broncos against the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are a fine team, I would say. The scrappy team, upset underdog type of team. But Denver Broncos, I think they're good. Russell Wilson and this team is going to be able to lead their team at home to get their first win of the year. I believe in the Broncos. I know I picked the Seahawks to win last game, but I think that's going to be a wake-up call for Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos to get a dub over the Texans. And then we got the Raiders against the Cardinals. The Cardinals' defense looks absolutely atrocious in that last game. Devontae Adams and is going to pick apart. And Derek Carr will finally, in this game, I think, actually have some time to throw the football here. I'm a very big Raiders supporter here. I think this more than most. Arizona, I just don't believe in with that defense right now. And that offense, I don't think is going to get the job done. So I'm going Las Vegas at home in that great game. Green Bay against Chicago. Now, this is Chicago coming off a dub, but Green Bay needs to get back. We've seen this time and time again. It's no need to overreact with the Packers in week 1 here in this Sunday night game. I think that Aaron Rodgers can get this offense going a bit. I still don't think the Bears are a very good team, even with that win over the Niners. So I'm still going with the Green Bay Packers there in that game. And then moving on down here to the Monday night games, we got the Bills against the Titans. Titans did not look good in their last outing against the Giants. I don't think it's going to change against the best team in the NFL, in my opinion. I'll go Bills quite easily in that game, actually. And then to finish off the week, we got a very good game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. Vikings, I think, might be a tad bit overrated. Actually, not a tad bit, quite a bit overrated coming off the win over Green Bay. Philadelphia, I think they're going to have enough with Jalen Hurts in the fold. Going to be able to get this job done here in this game. And this defense for Philadelphia obviously needs to take a better step this week. It's going to be tough, though, against that Vikings offense. I think this will be a high-scoring game here. But I'm going to go Philadelphia to get the job done. They just have the better team, in my opinion, just overall. So anyway, guys, thank you all for watching this video today. Hopefully you all enjoyed the content. Comment down below your Week 2 predictions. And anyway, peace out.